My doctor doesn't know about SIBO, mold illness or biological dentistry. How to explain self-education is key. Hello, my name is Constantin. I have been a long-time SIBO and mold illness sufferer and had to heavily self-educate since 2020 to know what SIBO and mold illness are, how to test and how to heal from it, because these complex chronic illnesses are still widely unknown, even by many doctors. Now I'm sharing everything I have learned on this channel in order to spread awareness so people can search for knowledgeable doctors, get properly tested and treated. So I'm not a medical doctor. This video is not medical advice, but only information you should discuss with your doctor. So your doctor doesn't know about SIBO, mold illness or biological dentistry, and you can't find a doctor who does know these topics well. How do you explain those topics to your general practitioner? How do you work with the doctors you have access to, even if they don't know? When I became ill with SIBO, and later discovered that this was caused by mold illness, my doctors in Guadeloupe had never even heard of SIBO or mold illness. They didn't know how to test for it and how to treat it. After having done my first SIBO test on my own, I then went to several doctors, even specialists in digestive issues, but they didn't really know either what SIBO was and how to heal it. In reality, most doctors in most countries don't know about SIBO, mold illness or biological dentistry. A few may have heard the names, but they have no real competence in treating them. So in many countries, it's still very difficult or nearly impossible to find a doctor who is literate in these conditions. So after my SIBO breath test, I soon found out that I would not have access to specialist doctors who knew how to treat it. So I decided to self-educate in order to be able to explain to normal doctors what SIBO is, how to test for it and how to treat it. And of course to discuss possible treatments with them. And if those treatments would make sense in my case. There were a lot of resources on the internet about SIBO at that time already, mostly coming from the United States, and hundreds or even thousands of videos with doctors in the United States who knew how to treat SIBO, mold illness or problems that can be resolved by biological dentistry. So I gathered a lot of knowledge and information by listening to YouTube videos, by reading books about digestion and SIBO. And finally, I had enough knowledge to explain these illnesses to the doctors that I had access to and to discuss possible treatments with them. But by thoroughly informing myself about SIBO, I could not only explain to those doctors what SIBO was, what the test meant, and what the treatment options were, and discuss with them if those treatments would make sense in my case. But I also could recognize if a doctor wasn't competent, or he was not willing to listen, or brushed everything off with, "This is not scientifically proven, you are just crazy, you should go and do a therapy, or it's all in your head, just stress or psychological, go on vacation," etc., etc. Some doctors tried to get me out of the office as quickly as possible with a random prescription. Others took a certain time to listen for maybe 15 minutes, and then it got just too complicated for them, and then they just tried to get me out of their office by pushing their own services like acupuncture or certain supplements that they were selling. But there were also a few doctors who were at least willing to listen, to think critically, to even read or research a little more themselves, and then discuss my situation with them and really think it through if the recommended treatments for SIBO would make sense in my case or if we should choose something else. Of course, those were the ones I could work with and advance in my healing journey. So in my opinion, what is really key to heal from SIBO and mold illness? It's not only to find a good doctor, but to get all the information to learn everything about SIBO and mold illness and to take your health in your own hand. And then go and try to find a doctor who is willing to listen, who is willing to work with you, who is willing to listen to this new information that you explain to him, who will do his own research to check this information and will apply it to your case, discussing with you if those treatments make sense in your personal situation. As I said, I didn't want to self-medicate, so I strongly believe that we all should work with a good doctor. So to heal from SIBO, mold illness or dental problems with biological dentistry, self-education is key. It allows you to explain SIBO, mold illness and biological dentistry to doctors who don't know about them. You can bring in test results even from laboratories from abroad and explain them and propose treatments and discuss them through with doctors. It allows you also to filter out doctors who just dismiss you or give you nonsensical answers, which means that you can recognize the rare doctors who are open, willing to learn and willing to help. And you can actually make progress even without specialists nearby. If you're dealing with SIBO, mold illness or problems that can be resolved by biological dentistry, don't expect normal doctors to know these conditions. Self-education gives you the tools to explain your situation and the clarity to evaluate how doctors respond. That's how you find the few who are truly willing to work with you. If you found this interesting, then click on the next video here on the right side. But before that, do you have questions or need more explanations understanding this information? Click on the link below to find out how I can help you. If you like my videos and you want to support this channel and my work as an author, you can send me a tip or donation. Link in the first comment or description box.